Episode 23, Steve.
What's
Big
happening?
one, man.
Back again.
Back again. What's going on? How's your week?
Busy. Have a first weekend off in 2.5 years. I did.
How was that?
Good friends back night. Yeah, it was alright. It was good to get away.
Yeah.
Freshen up. So.
Are you still thinking of work?
Pardon?
Were you still thinking
I
of
was
work?
still doing work, so yeah, no getting away from it.
That's good. We have Reda back who decided to come back.
I'm back, yeah. I had a busy last 2 weeks, so
Yeah, that's
absolutely
good.
great to come back, yeah.
And we have a special guest today. It's Lloyd Owusu.
Thank you.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, Owusu.
Say it properly.
Owusu.
Owusu.
Yeah.
How you been, man?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, so like I said, thanks again for having me on the show.
No,
Yeah.
thanks
Pleasure.
for coming on.
Cheers,
Yeah.
guys.
What have you been up to?
Nothing much, I've just got back into the swing of things, back to work. Had a nice I'll say 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
So it's been nice, and then back on the grind at school, so back on it.
All right, so we'll get into that a little later, but we'll start with just, giving people background about you because not everyone will know who you are, but you're an English footballer, professional, pretty decorated, big career. You want to just talk about how you first got into football?
Yeah, I mean, wow. When I was actually a latecomer, to be fair. I was actually a latecomer. I mean, back in England, as you probably know, everyone's playing football from an early age. I was always playing, but only not at a serious level. I was more into my athletics, and probably when I got to about the age of about 10, 11,
Yeah.
I started getting engaging into football. I actually started off in goal, to be fair.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
started off in goal. Not many people know that. And then I went to centre. Then I went to centre half. And then it must have been about I think it was about 11. And my old team, Britwell Devils, we were called. I was playing at the back, and I always remember I played a team called Born Ed Robins, and I picked up the ball from the back, and I took on the whole team, and I got to the edge of the goal, and I hit it, and it hit the side netting. I didn't score, I hit the side, but then my manager said, "You're never a defender." You're a centre forward. Ever since that day, just converted me into a centre forward, and never really looked back. So started off there as a kid, as juniors, and then back from where I'm from in the UK, Slough.
Where? Slough?
Mini,
What's that?
where where the Office was filmed. Remember the Office?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
Oh, I have no idea.
So it's just south of London.
Oh, okay.
Just 10 minutes from Heathrow Airport. So grew up there, and then I was just playing as a junior for my local team. Had 1 year at under 15s at Crystal Palace, schoolboy at Crystal Palace. Unfortunately, didn't make it to the next level as a scholar. But again, that didn't really downhearten me. I just got my head back up and just said, I want to keep going. And like I said, on the flip side of that though, where I was from though, a lot of the boys were obviously, as you can imagine, from the streets and the hoods. A lot of my boys went one way, but football was always my focus. So I always wanted to do that extra bit of training. I just love football. And obviously bless most of them guys. Obviously some have obviously passed away, and obviously some are still in prison. But a lot of them, like I said, I went in the other direction, just kept grinding away. And luckily for myself, when I got to about 16, 17, 18, got invited to play for my local team, Slough Town, who were based in a conference, which if you want to look at it in the English tiers, is the 5th division is now. And as an 18-year-old, I made my debut, and I scored 4 goals on my debut in the conference. And as soon as I'd done that, the phones were ringing. The phones were ringing from all the professional clubs, and I got invited to go to a couple of trials. Went to a team called Walsall first on trial for a month. About 2 weeks into it, Brentford phoned up my manager, Brian McDermott, and said, we want to buy Owusu. How much for? And they bought me for a club record from Slough Town for £25,000 at the time.
Do you still hold that record?
I still do, to be fair. Funny you say that, I actually do.
Okay.
Yeah, actually do.
Yeah.
Freaking out 23 years ago.
Yeah.
It's actually 23 years ago.
That'd
I
have
made
been
my
some
debut.
decent money for the club back then.
For that time, for a club of the conference level.
Yeah.
And I made my debut. I made my debut there and scored the 4 goals, and then, as they say, the rest is history. Yeah.
Nice.
So how was it when you moved to Brentford?
That was surreal, to be fair. It's one of them.
What division were they?
They
at that
were
time?
so the League 2 now.
League
so
Two.
at the time it was called Division 4. It was a daunting experience, a young boy from Slough. Always had that dream of becoming a professional, but never ever think would it come reality. Always believed in myself, don't get me wrong, but then when it actually did come, it was a different scenario, where for 1 minute you're training only 2 nights a week, and all of a sudden you go into a full-time environment with players who have been there and done it. Like I always remember I was so nervous going to my first day training. I was just like, just like, yeah, man, this is surreal. You know, around training every day, but again, everything I come off and asked for a better start in a professional career. So Ron Nodes, may he rest in peace, the old Crystal Palace chairman, great guy in the football world. He left Crystal Palace and bought Brentford. Brentford were on the decline. They actually got relegated that season before, and he came in, and obviously because he was a very wealthy and very shrewd man, we were automatic favourites to win the league. So he actually moulded the team with had a great nous about him. What he did, he built the team with experience, youth, and a bit of class as well. So we had a whole mix of players who had played at the top level at the time in the Championship.
What year was this?
This was 99.
Okay.
Sorry, 98.
98. Right.
So he brought down some players who had played in the Championship, like Herman Ryerson, who was playing for Crystal Palace at the time and big player. And then he got a lot of the guys who left the Crystal Palace youth team, who were on the actual. I wouldn't say they were the youth team. They already had a year or two pros into their careers themselves. He got them because he wanted them to get more experience as real first team football.
Players, yeah.
And then he got myself, a guy called Martin Rowland, Gavin Mann, and Darren Powell, who were all from non-league. So like the equivalent of like RMPL here, like we were all like non-league players. So he just said, you know what, because he wanted that hunger, players who really want to prove themselves, which was us four, the class of the young guys who've been in that professional environment, but not really experienced first team football, and then the experienced players who've been there. And I'll tell you what, it just went from strength to strength. To be fair, I didn't even expect to play. I was happy just to be as a professional footballer. In the end, I ended up playing all 56 games.
Wow.
Leading
56 games
that season. Yeah, we played 56. Yeah, so 46 in the league, and then 10 within the different cup games. And then I won the Golden Boot my first year
in League Two.
25 goals, 3 hat tricks within that, and it was just, and we won the Championship. And
so you got promoted
as well.
Yeah,
all in 1 year of
League
coming from non-league to it was literally Roy the Rovers stuff.
Yeah,
right. It was just phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Is that how far up did you guys go with Brentford?
So Brentford, we got to the next division. We got to League One, the so-called League One now. So League One, and then I was there for 4 years, and then we actually got to the playoff final to get to the Championship. Yeah. And our last season, we played Stoke. The last game of the season, we played Stoke at the Millennium Stadium, and unfortunately, we fell short. Considering we actually battered them 3 weeks prior in the league, like we battered them 3-1 in the league, and then come the final. To be fair, when I look back at it, I'll never make excuse in regards of why we never done it. I mean, we were very nervous. 55,000 people there, and we're only used to playing in front of about 5,000 to 6,000 people week in, week out. And to be for myself, I actually played on not many people know that I actually tore my cartilage. And Steve Coppell said to me, "Look, Lloyd, I need you to play if you can play." And I played through the pain barrier. Then I had the operation a few days after. So that was that. So I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't 100%. It was just unfortunate because we had such a great team. We were all together actually from that 4 years, from 98 to 2002. Many of us stayed together, that whole group, and then in the end, because we never went up, because of the last game, obviously everyone else went. Luckily, everyone done really well. They all went to different parts of their careers most of us all went Championship. A couple went to the Prem. So it was good. Yeah, it was good.
And then you went to Sheffield.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday. Another great story there. I spoke to quite a few clubs because, like I said, I had 4 great years at Brentford. Scored like 83 goals in 200 games. So I had a lot of clubs knocking on the door. And in the end, I decided to go with Sheffield Wednesday. And prior to me, I agreed with them handshake, but then Sheffield United actually came in about 2 days before. So
were they playing a higher?
Same division.
Oh, same division.
Same division. So they were in the Championship as well. And they said, "Oh look, we want you." And I said, "Look, I'm a man of my word. I haven't signed officially, but I've given Terry York my hand, and I'm a man with respect." So the gaffer there, he said, "I respect that." He goes, "All the best with Sheffield." He goes, "All the best with Sheffield Wednesday. Just make sure you don't score against us." Like I said, prior to that, remember I said I had the injury, I had the operation, and then Sheffield Wednesday knew about the operation, so they still signed me anyway. And I was out for about just under 2 months from when I signed to making my debut. And I said to the boys, it's so weird, it's so surreal, because I had a dream. That I said to the boys, I'm going to make my debut for Sheffield Wednesday against Sheffield United. And I said, I will score with my first touch. Mm-hmm. And all the boys were like, shut up, Lloyd. I said, no, I just had a dream. And what happened? I come on, 76th minute, bang, first touch. 1-0, and then we scored. Sheffield Kikuchi scored a second, and then 2-0 we beat Sheffield United in the Sheffield Steel City derby. 40,000 fans there live on Sky Sports.
Because that's a big derby, isn't it?
Massive.
Yeah,
One of the biggest. Yeah, it's one of the biggest.
Yeah.
One of the biggest top 10 in England. It's unbelievable. So that was just a surreal moment. And then, like I said, I looked over. And then after the game, Neil Warnock looked over to me. The Sheffield United manager went, "You little." That was good. So great times there as well.
And then during that time, you went on loan to Reading.
Yeah. So luckily, or unfortunately for Sheffield Wednesday, we actually got relegated.
Yeah.
Because the year I signed, they just got relegated from the Premiership.
Yeah.
So then we got relegated to League One. So that was a bit unlucky for ourselves. But obviously, again, a lot of the players, because no disrespect to Sheffield Wednesday, they didn't think a lot of the players would, or they didn't think the club would get relegated. So within our contracts, our money stayed the same. Where normally, if you know you get demoted, your money goes down if you've still got X, Y, Z left on the contract.
Yeah.
But all the players still had. So there was players in our team that going into League One at the time were like on 15 grand a week.
Yeah.
And this was like, you know what I mean? This was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like 15, like big money, like big money. So.
Yeah.
The club couldn't really afford these players, but with my story, I love my time at Sheffield, but the manager for some reason just wasn't playing me, considering I was actually doing quite well. I always remember we played another live game on Sky against Wickham, and I scored the first goal, set up the winner, and I got man of the match on Sky. And the next game against Burnley, I'm dropped.
You're right.
So I'm like, what am I dropped for? And he said he come up with some rubbish excuses, and I said, you know what, I can't. If he doesn't have that faith and belief in me, I can't be here.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So luckily, obviously, we were in League One at the time, but then Reading came in for me, who were back in the Championship.
Yeah.
And it was my old manager Steve Cobble from Brentford. He said, Lloyd, he goes, look, I want you to come. I want you to come on loan at Reading if you want. I was like, mate, perfect. It's down the road from mum and dad. All my friends and family are there. So I ended up signing for Brentford on loan for Reading on loan for a month. Then it signed into a 3-month loan, and then signed a permanent 2.5-year deal after that. And then again, it was just good to be back down south, within a real good comfort zone with all my friends and family around me. Just enjoyed my time there as well.
And was that Championship?
Championship, yeah. So we stayed there, and then I was there for Brentford Reading 2.5 years, and it was good.
And then you went back to Brentford.
Yeah, well, yeah. So back to, they always say never go back, but reason why, because at Reading, the year they got promoted to the Prem, I still had another year left on my contract.
Yeah.
So theoretically, I could have actually stayed and just picked up my money. But for me, football was not always about the money.
Yeah.
Especially when you're at a certain age, you need to play.
Yeah.
So I even said to myself, you know what? Steve Cobble said to me, Lloyd, he goes, I can't guarantee you playing week in and week out. He goes, you're more than happy to stay and fight for your place, or you can go and find another club. And I said, you know what? As much as I want to fight for my place, I want to play regularly. So again, a few other clubs come in. Brentford come back, and Martin Allen was the manager at the time. And I was in and ahhing, do I, don't I? Old club, don't go back. But I thought, he just had something about him. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go. Again, local to me again. Went back to the promised land, as I call it. Brentford, my first club, who gave me the opportunity. And it was a good couple of years. It was a good couple of years to go back. But yeah.
And during that time, you got your first call up to Ghana.
I actually got my first call up was for Reading.
I
actually got my first call up. Yeah, I actually got my first call up to Ghana when I was at Reading. We played a club. We played a club game. Well, it was an international, but international team us. But we played a club team, as in Lyon, in France. And I tell you that was another crazy story. The longest. So England to France. How long? You're looking what to get an hour? Yeah. I swear now, me and my fellow friend Patrick Adjaman, who played for Wimbledon at the time. It must have taken us 24 hours to get to France.
Was it?
Because Ghana, back in them days, they paid for whatever the cheapest route was. Mate, we ended up going from Heathrow for somewhere to get to Heathrow to Dunstable for some reason, then Dunstable to frigging Germany. Then we waited in Germany for God knows how long, and then Germany to France, and then mate, it was just like 24 hours until we got to the training ground. So and that was the first time when I really experienced these, because even though it's my motherland, I didn't really ever think that I'd ever represent my country in to that extreme. And it was the first time I experienced Michael Essien and Sully Matari.
What year was this, sorry, Lloyd?
This was 2005.
So that was Essien's. He's coming up through.
Yeah, 2004, 2005 time. And I must admit, mate, I was just gobsmacked. I swear, no word of a lie. We're doing a keep ball session. And I just stopped in a session. I stopped and just went like this, just applauded. You could not get the ball off them.
Yeah,
they were that exceptional. Him, Stephen Appiah, I was just like, they were unbelievable. It was unbelievable. They were just,
because that 2015 played in the World Cup the following year, wasn't it?
So that was 2016, our first Ghana's first ever World Cup.
Yeah.
So like I said, I was enjoying my football then. I was playing well for Reading at the time, got my first call up, and then went to Brentford. I was on fire at Brentford. Then unfortunately for myself, I got injured 2006. The World Cup was in June. I got injured in, I think it was April. I ruptured my groin in a friendly for Ghana with a warm up friendly, and unfortunately for myself, I ruptured my groin and missed out on the plane in the World Cup. I ended up going out there anyway to Germany, which was good. Watched a couple of games, which was nice, but it was just a gutted thinking, you could have been on that pitch, just the biggest tournament in the world. It was heartbreaking, but at the end of the day, it's great memories still, though. So yeah.
How did that call up come about?
Again, the first one, like I said, when I was at Reading, I thought it was a joke. So the club secretary, Sue, she goes, "Oh, Lloyd, we've had the Ghana FA called us. They want you to go for this international game." I'm like, serious? She goes, yeah. So I ended up going for that. But then after that, I was playing well at Brentford. And because Ghana, they used to play a lot of their games in London. Yeah. They used to play them at QPR, at Brentford, at Mill, all the friendly games. And because a lot of us, there was a lot of English Ghanaian boys who were playing locally anyway, it was easier for them to, instead of shipping the guys who were from Ghana to come over, if they're already there, get the guys who were already on soil, and then we played. So again, luckily the game, it was against Togo, against Adebayor's team it was. We played them at Brentford. So I played the game there, and I was done quite well. And again, the manager at the time, Dojkovic, he said, he liked me. Then he invited me again to come out to, I got injured. We played against FC, who did we play that game? I can't remember, the German club team we played again. And that's when I got injured, unfortunately. And that was that. As they say, the rest is history. So,
yeah, and then you finished up at Brentford, went to Yeovil.
Yep.
Went to Cheltenham.
Yeah, so after my Brentford experience, because obviously when I'd done my groin, the original injury was only due to be about 2 to 3 months. But the surgeon at the time, he told me not to have the operation, and I wish I had the operation because I would have been back ended up being out 11 months. Oh, wow. So I missed the whole second season at Brentford. My second year contract, I missed practically the whole season, and I came back the last month and a half maybe of that year. And then again I was scraping around looking what's going to happen, especially when you haven't played a long time. You know what I mean? You get.
How old were you around that time?
Was I 28 then?
Oh, okay.
20, yeah, it was about 28. So you sort of get forgotten in a way, But then luckily Yeovil came in and said, "Look, we can offer you a 1-year deal. Come prove yourself, and obviously if you do well, I mean, hopefully."
League One or two?
They were League One. They were League One. So signed for Yeovil, signed a year deal at first, done well first season. Then offered me a second year, but then the second year they couldn't afford me. So because obviously for their own financial restraints. So I ended up going on loan to Cheltenham. Then went to Cheltenham, signed there, permanent in the end. Again, they couldn't afford me because they had financial restraints. I ended up going on loan to Brighton, and then the Brighton magic happened there to make me come to Australia. So
Yeah. So then you ended up at Adelaide United.
Yeah. So again, from Brighton, I went to Brighton, like I said, and I went to Brighton on loan. Had 14 games, and they were actually we were 8 points adrift of League One, and they were going into the new Amex Stadium the next season. So if they'd got relegated, it would have been a massive loss for the club because going in the new stadium that they got there, like you probably know, is unbelievable now. So that season, 8 points adrift from League One. We were practically down. 14 games left. I've gone in there, scored 7 goals, and we stayed up. And to be fair play to the Brighton fans, a lot of them remember me from that stint 10 years ago, from sort of saving their club into going into distinction. So it was fantastic. And then so I was in the change. I remember I was in the change room, and my phone rang. Just finished training. Some guys on the phone goes, "Hi Lloyd, this is Richie Hinton. I'm an Australian agent based in Melbourne." He goes, "Team in Adelaide." I went, "Where?" I said, "Where?" He goes, "In the A-League." I said, "Nah, man." I said, "No, don't worry." So I put the phone down on him anyway. So the physio must have overheard my conversation. He goes, "Oh Lloyd, what's that?" I said, "Oh, some agent in Australia's calling me about the A-League." And I'm like, nah. He said, he goes, "You remember Paul Reed from used to play for us?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, he's loving it out there. I was like, "Yeah." So sort of changed, and I just had a little bit. So I called back the guy. I said, "Oh, by the way," I said, "Sorry about that. I just wasn't really thinking about it." He goes, "Yeah, don't worry." He goes, "Adelaide United, they're playing in the Asian Champions League next year, and they're really keen to have you." I was like, "Okay." He goes, "I know you know Paul Reed. He's out here." He goes, "Feel more than welcome to call him that night." So I actually called Paul that night, and I said, "Paul," I said, "your team's coming for me." He goes, I said, "What's it like?" He goes, "No." He goes, "Look, if you're at a stage of my life, I just had a little one as well." He goes, "Look, if you want to come for something different and try it out, he goes, try it." So I was like, spoke to the missus, the ex at the time, and I said, "Look, this team's come in. What do you think?" And she said, look, you've been in England for the last 12 years. Why don't we try something different? So I said, phone back the agent. I said, look, if they're willing to pay for me to come out and have a look, I'm more than happy. And then, they did, mate. And I must admit, they put the red carpet out for me, mate. Yeah. So they put the red carpet out. So when I got there, I was like, wow, this is not bad, I was looking around, it's like, so I went there, a couple of days there, met a few of the boys, the players, Scotty Jamison at the time, Robert Cornthwaite, Eugene Galekovic, top boys, Travis Dodd, all made me feel really welcomed. And then, but my still prime was to stay in England, because I was always looking for a 2-year contract, because after I left Brighton, I said to them, Brighton offered me another deal, but I said to the gaffer at the time, look, I want a 2-year deal. I think I'm entitled to that, especially for what I've just done. Get the club up. He goes, oh no, Lloyd, I can only give you a year deal and X amount of money. I said, look, I'll take less money, but 2 years, because I can't. So I said, mate. So I went obviously searching. A few other clubs. Millwall came in, Gillingham. I thought Adelaide United came in as well with a 2-year deal, not a bad package. I thought, you know what, let's give it a go. And so when I was out there, I said to them, look, if you can tweak a few little things here and there, I'll go, I'm your man. And they came back to me straight away, tweaked a few things. I said, yep, handshake. Flew back to England, started preparing, and came back out in 2009.
Yeah, how was that?
It was different.
Be honest.
It was great. Like I said, coming in, the lifestyle and everything, the football culture was totally different.
Because it's not existing.
Yeah.
Because for what they'd sold me, Aurelio Vidmar at the time, for what he sold me, telling me, look, because he saw, and I would say as a player, clubs sign players based on the players' strengths, not for in regards to what the manager. Yes, the manager wants certain players, but if a manager wants a certain player, he's bringing up a certain player because of the player's strength. So I'm a 4-4-2 man, especially back in them days. 4-4-2, little and large combination up front, wingers, crosses in. I feed off food in the box. Got here. Next thing, we're playing this some Australian new formation. I'm hearing 4-3-3, but it was literally 4-5-1. So it was literally like, ball comes to me, I've got no one to help me. The rest of the team's walking up, and I've got 3 defenders around me trying to keep the ball. Yeah. So it just never really worked for me, and it's unfortunate because I got struck down with swine flu and pneumonia. Oh. When the big epidemic happened, I was one of the first footballers to. So when that sort of even killed me from day one. So I never got my pre-season here in Australia. So I was always on the back burner. So I was in
your first pre-season. You got swine flu.
Swine flu pneumonia. So I was in solitary confinement for a month. Yeah. So even my kid and her mum at the time, they had to delay their flight to come out because no one was allowed near me. And the club used to leave my food outside my apartment. They used to leave it outside my apartment, and then so I was always on the back burner. And I don't wish swine flu and pneumonia on no one. It was just it was horrible. So I never really regained full fitness, and then my sort of Adelaide United journey didn't really turn out the way I wanted to. No disrespect to at the time at the age, I should have destroyed it. But things happen. It is what it is. But on the flip side, I'm here now. 10 years later, I'm enjoying life here. So I
ended up being a blessing, I guess.
In a way,
your family's all here now. Yeah.
Yeah, so
you're trapped in your life.
It's good, So
yeah. And then you went back to England.
Yeah. So went back. I signed. Like I said, signed a 2-year deal here. First season went okay, average. But then my second year in Adelaide, I had a major knee operation. I actually went in just for a normal cartilage operation. And then I woke up, doctor's telling me, you're going to be out for a year. I'm like, oh, cheers. I said, what? He goes, when I went in, the knee wasn't right at all. So there's a thing called I had microfracture surgery, where what it is, I'm bone on bone. Oh, yeah, okay. So bone on. So many, like Ledley King, what Ledley King had. So he had to retire from his. Luckily for myself, I had 6 holes drilled in my knee, because what they do, the new doctors, or Dr. Stedman in America, who created his procedure, was where you drill holes in the knees to replenish the knee again. And obviously it works for certain players, and I had 6 holes drilled, and luckily for myself, it worked for me. So I missed a whole year. My second season in Adelaide, I missed a whole year. So I got my contract paid up about 6 months prior, and I went back to England, and then signed for Luton. But like I said, I hadn't played for a whole year, so it was tough to try and get back into a club. But they were in the conference. I had a couple of League 2 clubs, but I ended up signing for Luton. They offered me a nice, but not a bad package. I thought, just give it a go, just to get my feet back on the ground. And I kicked off there really well, and then
Yeah, so you scored 7 and 15.
Yeah, 7 and 15 game there, and there was also a bit of a sad story, great story in regards of how my goal scoring ratio for them. But we actually got to the playoff final. Again, my goals were the ones that got us to the playoff final. But in that transition period, the manager who brought me, he got stabbed in the back, and the assistant manager took over. And the assistant manager, for some reason, Gary Brabham, I mean, I always thought I got along with him. He didn't play me in the final, and I wasn't even on the bench.
Oh wow!
That's how. Okay. So what happened was, there's this player called Crowe, great guy, he was out for 3 months, knee injury, 3 months. So for some reason, I just had a feeling in my stomach when we were building up to training, I wasn't going to be involved for some reason. But I carried on training. Everyone was training. We all went to go and get our suits fitted for the final at Man City, and we trained on the Friday before we drove up to Manchester, and he'd done the starting 11 anyway, so which was fair enough. But I thought at least get on the bench. And then Crowie's just come Crowie's first training session. His first training, he just joined in with all the boys. His first great training session. So we got to Man City's ground, and all the boys, when you get there, you always walk on the pitch and see what the pitch is like, etc., etc. And then the gaffer was standing in the tunnel, and I just happened to be the last one coming back through, and he goes, "Oh, can I have a word?" And before he even said that, I said to him, "You best not be telling me what I think you're going to tell me." And he goes, "I'm going to play Crowie." I said, "Hold on." I said, "What?" He goes, "I'm going to put Crowie on the bench." I said, "Crowie's been out 3 months with a knee injury, and I've been scoring goals for fun, and I'm not on the bench." He went, "Nah, that's how I see it." Because he felt I was too old, etc. I was like, I lost my soul. I walked into the change room, and all the boys had seen me because they were already waiting for the gaffer to come in to talk about the team structure and everything. I've walked in the change room, and the boys were just all looking, thinking, "Oh, Lloyd don't look happy." So I just sat in the corner, and then the gaffer named the team, and then he named the subs, and even the boys, even Crowie himself must have been shocked as well.
Bloody Crowie.
Yeah. The boys were like, "What?" And mate, it was a delight for AFC Wimbledon knowing that Owusu wasn't on the bench, even on the bench, mate. And when we came out, so you got you see Man City, you got the players in the dugouts, and then you got the players who aren't playing just behind, and all the fans were like, they couldn't even believe it. And their gaffer, the Wimbledon manager, they was buzzing that I wasn't even involved. And what even peed me off even more was, Crowie didn't even get on. He didn't even get on.
Great.
I
hope you're listening, Crowie.
Yeah, and then we lost on penalties in the end, and then the club didn't go up, so I ended up leaving anyway, and then went to I think I went to Cyprus after that.
You went to Paphos.
Yeah, Paphos. I went to Paphos. Freaking that was a.
You thought it was just a holiday,
yeah,
didn't you?
man. So I was looking around. I thought, let me try another experience. I've been overseas. Let me try another experience. Went to Paphos because I've always loved Paphos anyway. Because I always used to go there in the pre-season, English pre-season, for some warm weather training with my mentor Danny Bailey. Used to always go, and went there. Yeah, nice little deal. They sorted me out. Nice little apartment. Nice little villa. Lovely villa, swimming pool, little car. Well, wasn't the greatest of cars. So all the foreign boys had the cars. It was nice. So I signed a year deal there. Happy days. Enjoying my training in a nice heat. And all of a sudden, man, must have been about we get paid weekly, or I'd say we get paid. We didn't get paid in the end. So they weren't paying. I thought to myself, I can't see this ending good. So it must have been 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And prior to this, it was just coming up to September to the window closing. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't be dealing. So, we're training one evening, because we used to train in the evenings because it was so warm. We used to train about 7 o'clock at night. And then I see my car driving off. And then I see one of the other foreign guys' car's driving off. So I looked at the other foreign guy and go, and the directors just come and taking our cars.
What?
They just come and took our cars.
Why?
Because they weren't going to pay us. So they just took all our cars. So I front up the edge, like, "Mate, get me out of here." I said, "Get me out of here, please," straight away. So I didn't even end up playing. I didn't even end up playing for them. So I just got out of there straight just before the window closed. Got back to England and just signed a deal for Barnet. And I thought, just sign I think it was 4 or 5 month deal, signed till January. And I thought to myself, now I'm coming to the end of my career, man. Do I need to be chasing these? Do I need to be chasing? I thought, you know what? Nah, I'm done with it. So I went back to my beloved Slough Town, done a full 360.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? I've been Slough Town as an 18-year-old. Let me give back to my local community. Give back before I sort of really retire. Yeah. And it was a blessing. It was nice to go back to a club who gave me the first opportunity in football. And finish up there, and that's when I decided to emigrate to Australia.
Okay. Yeah. What gave you the decision to move to Australia?
I was living when I was at Barnet, so I was living in Rotherhithe. So whether it's like southeast London, like proper ghetto, proper rough. And I was staying at my cousin's apartment, me, my kid's mum, and my little daughter. And I looked out the back window and I saw these young youths, all these young ghetto boys just smoking weed in the park. And I said to myself, you know what? I can't even let my little daughter go and play and enjoy it. What we had in Australia was, that lifestyle, beach living, parks. You feel safe.
Right.
So I said, you know what? I had the visa. Always had the visa. I said, you know what? F it. I said, let's do it. Let's go back. Let's just go and emigrate. So we decided to come. And I've not looked back.
And you played when you came. You went back to. Did you play at Rotherhithe?
No. Started off. So when I came, I didn't know much about. I went to Adelaide, and so when I was at Adelaide, I had good contacts with a team called White City, Serbian team. I had some real good contacts there. So they said, look, if you do come back, look, we'll get you in, come play for us. Not bad money for weekly games, and then obviously I could do some coaching. So I came back here because I came back to Australia with nothing, with no job, nothing really. So I had enough money to say 2 years. I had enough money to say I can live for 2 years without paying rent. I got myself a car. I got 2 years rent in a place, and I said to myself, we give ourselves 2 years. If it don't go, you can always go back home. But within that time, I started snowboarding, making contacts, got into a couple of the private schools in Adelaide coaching, and then played for White City. And it was a great time of football there. But then later on in Adelaide, with Adelaide, it's very, like you probably know, it's a very sleepy town. You know what I mean? City of churches. There's no real.
It was boring.
It was.
Say it.
It's
fine to say it.
It's boring to a certain extent, but I mean, if you're already set there, it's not bad. But when you got a bit of drive and passion about you coming from London, you want that bit of oomph. Yeah. And especially with Adelaide, because the football market is so small. Yeah. People stay in their jobs. They don't want to leave because they know that if they leave, they ain't getting another job.
That's right.
But then I was already getting my accreditations before certain people in certain jobs, and I think people were getting threatened that I was getting my accreditation so quick. So I just said, you know what, I'm going to give it a go in Sydney. I don't know no one here at all. A couple of players, spoke to a couple of players who made some contacts with some other players, and then made contact with Mark Robinson, who was ex-Socceroo and played in England at Burnley, and then he played out here for Sydney FC. And then he said, Lloyd, look, I run a local team. It's like NPL. It's like it was the state team at then. Yeah. He goes, look, come and play for us. I was like, it's a bit low level. Because I was really good friends with Mark Rood, and Rood said to me, Lloyd, you can come to my team, NPL 1 with Rockdale at the time. But he goes, you've got to realise, because where you've come from, and especially if you don't succeed, people can say, oh, he's a has-been, he's whatever age I was. I thought, do I really need that pressure at my age? It's all about lifestyle choice now. So I said to Robbo, Robbo, you know what? Let me see this thing you're all about. I went there. I swear that was one of my best times of my career. We won the league. Obviously, I was first time experiencing grand final experiences. Won the grand final. Won the Golden Boot. Won Player of the Year in the state league as well. So it was just a great time, and we had a real good team, to be fair. And then enjoyed it. And then from there, snowball, just helping them. He had a company called Mr. Soccer. Him and Lucas Neal had a company there. I was doing a bit of coaching for them. And I just started networking really, and then the rest is just sort of falling into place, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you went to Rydalmere.
Rydalmere. So after I actually retired. I actually officially retired.
No more kicking.
I said I'm officially retired. And then Tony Basher, of all people, I met him a few times. Great guy. He said to me, he goes, Lloydie, he goes, you're a long time retired. I'm like, no, Tony, I'm done. He goes, no, trust me. He goes, you're a long time retired. He goes, you will regret it. And I was like, no, I'm all right. He goes, trust me, just get the boots back on. And I was like, so in the end, cut a long story short, obviously, he got me back out of retirement. And then I signed for Rydalmere, and again had another great year with them guys. And then you can't lose that bug, man. Once you have it, it's there, man. So I just carried on playing, obviously the semi-professional level. So played there for a bit, and then went on to Stanmore. And then the last 2 years I've not done nothing since then, no. But yeah, it's
tempted to go back.
I would have been, but I mean, again, when I was at Stanmore too, I ruptured my groin, my hip flexor off the bone. So it was a bit of a bad injury. I didn't. If I was playing at a certain level, I would have had the operation done properly and got it done, but I let it heal naturally. So as much as I know I can even at 42 now, I know I can still do a job in an NPL 2 or NPL 3, honestly. I can still do a job. But yeah, you do miss it, but I'm happy with what I've achieved in my career overall since the age of 18, you know.
Yeah, so you had a long career. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, again, everybody's dream, you know. I mean, they always say if you can play in a professional environment for at least 10 years, you've had a good career. Obviously, mine went a bit past that, so I've been very happy and grateful.
Yeah, what are you doing now?
So now I'm working full time at Cranbrook in Bellevue Hill, at the school there, where I'm the general duties master and the first 11 head coach for the football team. Again, with Cranbrook, had a great experience the season before last, where it was the school's 100th year anniversary. The school's never won a football trophy in its life ever. Just never ever won it in 100 years. Never won a football trophy. And I went there and we won the CIS Cup, which was the New South Wales knockout cup of all the private schools in New South Wales, and another cup called the St Andrews Cup. So 2 cups in my first year there was brilliant. The most amount of points that they've ever got in the CAS table that they've ever acclaimed. So it was good, and just trying to transition the football program there with another guy called Ben Rodinson, who's head of football. So we're doing okay there. So I'm enjoying it.
How do you think those boys would go against the public school boys?
Again, when we actually played in the final, so we made it to the Champions of Champions, and we played the Westfield High boys, and we lost 2-1. And again, luckily for me that I had some really good players in my team, but the Westfield boys, they were good too. And in that team, who we actually lost to was Sam Severa at Central Coast Mariners, who was, even when I saw him there, I said that kid's got something special about him, and that boy can play. But yeah, like my boys, they put up the fight, so they were good.
Yeah. So it's coaching the future for you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm actually. Everyone says, "Oh, Lloyd won't get into that real professional environment coaching." Where that was always my goal, to coach in the youth level. That was always my aim in the professional environment. Which, don't get me wrong, I would still want to do. But then I thought to myself, now I'm 42 now, and in the professional way of football, it's ruthless. Yeah. At the end of the day, if you're in a professional environment and you go as a second with a manager, or if you go as an assistant, at the end of the day, if you don't win games, you've gone. You've gone.
Yeah.
So why would I want to put myself under that kind of pressure? And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm at a stage of my career, I want stability. You know, I'm in a private school sector now. I could be there for the next 10 to 20 years. Nothing to worry about. Where you go in that professional environment, you get sacked, you're trying to chase that next job. I just don't,
especially in Australia, there's less opportunities.
Less opportunity
compared
so,
to England.
Exactly. So that's why I said to myself, you know what? I'm happy with what I'm doing now. I'm still helping. I'm still guiding the next crop of kids through the school systems. Obviously, outside it in the club world, in the NPL land, I still identify players and stuff, and I'm still involved in that way. So I'm quite happy. I'm quite content.
What's your insight on Australian football? Because of your background in England. Where do you think we're at?
So, no disrespect, I've always said it, so far behind. 10, 15 years easy.
What's that?
Like I was saying to you guys off air before, for when I first come in, I experienced when I heard that kids have to play football. Already, they lost me from there. They lost me. You can't expect kids to be playing to pay football, and especially it's not easy. They're paying like big money, like grands, 2-3 grand to pay football. And no disrespect, they're not even getting coached by someone who's probably a proper qualified, experienced, who've been there and done it. Where like in the UK, mate, the government and the sports foundations, they're pumping the money to actually hire full-time coaches, proper full-time coaches to coach these kids. And kids aren't paid to pay in academies. They don't. If they're good enough, you come in, mate. That's where you make your money.
Yeah, you get looked after.
You get looked after. You train from under 9s, under 10s, under 11s, all the way through if you're good enough. And that's where they make their money later on down the line. Not letting the kids pay. And it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. It's an absolute joke.
How do you think that goes, like transitioning into that, first team for these so-called academies, I suppose, like the NPL level where the players are getting big bucks, and you think of like delivery of like the quality of the players, and these little kids have to pretty much pay their wages.
Yeah, again, it's embarrassing. Like I said, for parents to pay for the so-called first grades of clubs, it's just not right. It should be filtered down. The association, FFA, whoever it needs to be pumping the money down to the grassroots level, start developing these kids underpinning them with good coaching, good education, more contact time. That's another thing. They're not getting enough contact time. Where in England now, you got coaches under 9s who are full-time.
Wow.
So kids are training, they're getting at least, I'm looking minimum 15 hours contact time. That's probably minimum.
Yeah,
a week.
Too.
Ours is, so if you look at ours, if you're looking here in Australia now, if you're in a SAP program, you do 3 sessions a week at only an hour 20 max. You know what I mean? That's like 7 hours. That's a game. Mate, that's not even double digits yet.
Yeah.
You're not even double digits. So where a kid in England is getting minimum 15 hours contact time on the ball.
That's right.
So it shows the level of the difference. So yeah, it's good. It's a struggle here. It's a struggle. It's
massive.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? Like even at the coaching level, what do you think of it? Like the quality. Like what's lacking?
Personally, in my opinion, being involved in the coaching courses. Don't get me wrong. Like every country and has their own philosophies and thought processes. But when I was first doing the AFC or FFA courses, for me, it was more of like a brainwashing thing. Because when I first came in, it was all about you had to do this, you had to play 4-3, you had to. Textbook stuff. And I'm like, hold on, football's a world evolving game. Teams play against left, right, 4-4-2, 4-5, whatever formation. I mean, I won't say no names, but 2 coaches who are very close friends of mine, they were coaching the national team. This was about 2-3 years ago, under 17s, I think they were. And they played, I can't remember which team they were playing against. They were obviously playing Australia 4-3-3.
Yeah.
They came up against a team who were playing 4-5-1 or a different formation.
Yeah.
They can adapt.
Kids
they can't.
They apparently looked all on.
Why are they not in the position?
They were looking around at each other. What do we do? And they got, I think they got pumped 5-1 or something.
100%.
So again,
we totally agree here.
It's like there's no real education. Football's a world game. It's a world governing game. So even on that side, I've even had discussions with people saying, especially the top end people like Kelly Cross, and I've always said, why don't football generally with the FFA or UEFA be one whole body of the same cultured message? Not you have to. This country does this country does that. Football's football, so everyone should be learning off the same plate. I think. So that's why I think we're struggling.
It's an international language, football.
Exactly.
Know what I mean? So you got to adapt.
You got to adapt. You got to adapt. Kids in this country can't adapt. Yeah, so
good point.
It's crazy.
So you're gonna change that kind of mindset?
Well, I don't know about me, man. Like I said, I'm happy with what I'm doing now, so I'm all good. I just keep myself to myself. You know what I mean? So so that's good.
Yeah. And you're also involved in like player management.
Yeah, so I do some player consultancy stuff. I've been doing that for many years. So I actually started really dabbled in it when I was in Adelaide with a business partner of mine called Kieran Stapleton. He's based in Adelaide. He's got a few young Adelaide United players and a few overseas. So I'm more of a broker, man, because I know a lot of the contacts direct, i.e. players and managers, coaches. He just approached me and said, look, could you help me out? And I said, yeah, cool. So we brokered an odd deal here and there. But my main aim is to try and sort of establish, if I can see a good young Australian kid, obviously one needs an EU passport anyway, because that's the next thing. I need to deal with players who obviously I feel that I've got something about them, and because of my contact basis back in the UK, i.e. Readings, the Brentfords, the Sheffield Wednesdays, I can direct and say, look, I've got this kid, look, let him have a couple of weeks with you, see what you think, even if he doesn't get nothing, but it's a great experience for the kid from Australia who's gone to England and said, you know what, I've tasted it. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, but they've come back here probably even a better player.
Yeah, it's a proper trial,
trial. At least they come back and say, you know what, I've had a go. I wasn't good enough, but I've learned. I've seen what it's like to get there. I've come back here and I've become a better player. So I've got one of my young players now, young lad Jack McLaughlin. He's at the Sandwich Coast Mariners now. I sent him over 2 years ago. 1 year at Charlton, 1 year with QPR. He was close, very close. They did really like him. Very top player. But he's come back now, an even better player. So then my next vision for him, he's only 18. My next vision for him within the next 2 years, hopefully get involved in the Mariners Academy and hopefully around that area. And in the next year or two, he's still in that age group where he can go to UK, because English passport as well, where he can go to an under 23 level and give it a go. Because he's had experience as well. Yeah. He knows how.
We completely understand that. But what are your thoughts of like the academies? The ones where you pump money and play as it.
Well, the ones here.
Yeah. Have you seen those ones? You pay like about $4,000. You get a photo.
That Pro 11 was that league with all the academy. Again, look, it's a money spinner for the guy who owns it. At the end of the day, for each guy who owns it at academy, I'm hearing some of these guys are earning $250,000 a year from these academies where kids are paying, like you say, they're paying their $4,000 for his academy, one night a week and one game at weekend, and then they're paying, and obviously the kids are still paying for their club game. So some parents are paying out $6,000 for a kid a year
for a fake drink.
Mate, and it's ruthless. It's ruthless, but again, it's sad to see, but it is what it is, though. I mean, how do we stop it? I mean, I don't think we can really. You know, so it's a shame. It's a shame.
Steve, we've got some questions. Yeah.
A lot were about your celebrations. So we have 5 or 6 messages talking you through your celebration.
They raised the roof. Where'd it come from? So Brentford, my first year. It was actually quite an accident, to be fair. We're playing against Darlington. I remember Warren Aspinall. He put a cross in, and I've tucked in a nice little header, and I've just automatically run away and just raised my hands in the air. Just done it just out of chance. So that was that. But then the next game we came out, and when the announcer Peter Gillam at Brentford said my name, all the fans started going Owusu, but I thought they were booing me. I thought they were booing me. They're going Owusu, but everyone started pumping their fists. I thought, you know what? It's like a little chant. I like it. So every time I scored, I just automatically done it. And then every single club I snowballed effect happened. Every club I went, Sheffield Wednesday, Reading, everyone would just do raise the roof.
Did you do in the NPL leagues?
Yeah. I've even done it a few times.
Did you manage to do that?
Yeah, so raising the roof. So that's where the raise the roof came from. Yeah.
Well.
So it was good. For me, it's all about the fans. It's all about entertaining the fans. At the end of the day, if it wasn't for the fans, us footballers wouldn't be getting paid, you know. Yeah. So I would like to give something back to the fans. So that was my little treat to them.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. So you spoke earlier about your upbringing and how your friends went one way and other for you went the other way. How much was a motivating factor for you to stay focused within your career? Because obviously this area of Sydney, it's a similar lifestyle. It's easy to go one way to the other, and we've spoken about it on other pods.
Yeah, I guess it's your upbringing your upbringing as a family culture as well. I mean, I'm from Ghana, so we're very it's very family orientated and all about respect and being good to people. And like I said, a lot of my boys, may bless them, rest in peace, or bless them now. Still great guys, you know what I mean. At the end of the day, my boys from morning, but I always had a vision and desire to become a professional. And I guess it's a mindset of the individual. Some guys want to do it, some don't. And I was one of them guys who just wanted to not go out and smoke, not go out and drink. I want to go and do that extra training, find a wall, kick a ball against the wall, find 2 goal posts and just go and practice scoring goals. And I guess that's where I've had that drive and belief ever since I was, 14, 15. And it's always instilled in me since then. And that's what I try now. The kids I work with, younger kids now, I try and instill that with them. So, yeah.
And you didn't have to play to play football. So if you come from a family that doesn't have much money here in Sydney, Western Sydney, it's very hard to get your kids away.
And that's what I'm hearing because I mean, I've blessed someone like Tony Basher. To be fair, he's doing well with his academy, but at least I must admit, with him, he's given kids opportunities. Though I know this is probably, whether he let me say this, there's probably kids in his academy who haven't paid him, and because he knows that they've got something about him, and that's priceless, mate. Because like you say, you've got a lot of these African families out there who've got some kids with pure, beautiful talent, but they can't go and pay $2,500 to go and play at a club. Yep. So people like Tony, bless him, he's given them opportunities to go and do it, and I appreciate it massively. So yeah, it's, like I said, speaking about earlier, it's horrible that they've got to pay, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Interesting. So I watched that Sunderland Till I Die show, which is really interesting, but not only the football side, but for me it was more the community side, so how much the football club then affected the community. Obviously you were around at a few different clubs and for a prolonged period of time. How much of an affinity did you have not only with the club but also with the community? Anything like that? Yeah, I mean, like I say, I watched that show as well, it was fantastic. Like, you know, football in England, especially the North East, mate, it's about the community. It's a passion. Them people would die. Them fans would die for their players. They would literally die for their players. So within myself and all the clubs I've been at, and I think which is brilliant just in the UK in general, there's a lot of community programs within the club. So the club has, i.e. Brentford, but within Brentford you have the Brentford community programs where they'll go out to the local schools, go out to local community clubs, go and give back to the people in the area, and then the players will go out as well and facilitate certain things, i.e. presentations, coaching clinics, which is brilliant, because at the end of the day, like I said before, it's all about the fans. If the fans don't come watch you, you don't get paid.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
So that's why, for me, it's always about when a kid or an adult, female, male wants an autograph or a picture, mate, that's the first thing you got to do, mate. That's a respect thing you've got to do. So in all the aspects of clubs I've been at, it's been good within the community programs.
Yeah.
So you're a football fan?
Liverpool fan, man. Good man. Since my cousin Ernest got me into it, sounds being a Londoner and then supporting the team up there is a bit different, but I've always just loved London.
What's the biggest club you played against in England?
Obviously friendly games, but in a competitive, let's do it on a competitive game. Would be Tottenham, Newcastle, and Sunderland. Funny enough, when we played them in the cup. So yeah, Tottenham when I was at Brentford. Played them twice in the Carling Cup. Yeah. I played against Sol Campbell, David Ginola. What a player. And then the following year played Newcastle. 2002 played Newcastle in the cup. I scored up there at St James's Park. We took the lead 1-0. Then they took us to extra time and we lost 4-1. Craig Bellamy come off the pitch and scored a hat trick. So that was Alan Shearer, Amiobi, Elliott. It was a great game. Sunderland, we actually beat them in the cup. We beat them in the 5th round of the FA Cup. There's some big players there. So yeah, that was probably Tottenham and Newcastle in competitive games. Yeah. But obviously in the past, during pre-season games, we've had played against the likes of Portsmouth, Sol Campbell again with Distan. By the way, them two, the toughest defenders I've ever played against. Toughest defenders ever. And then some friendlies, Man United in friendlies in the past, and some nice clubs to play against.
It's on my mind. Have you ever versed Akinfenwa?
Bayo, he's my boy. Bayo's my boy. Yeah, Bayo's my boy.
Big boy, huh?
Yeah, Bayo's a big boy. He's a good mate of mine as well. He's fair play to him. He's done well, the beast man, beast mode. But he's doing really well. I mean, he was about to retire himself, but then he's carried on at Wickham. Yeah, and he's doing very well. Obviously, off the field with all his promotion stuff and his branding. He's branded himself very well. Obviously, being the world's strongest player. Yeah. So great guy.
When is he on FIFA? Like 90 something?
Yeah, he's powerful. He's a powerful lad. So he's a good guy. So yeah, he's a top lad.
So that was the next question I was going to ask you was who was the best player you played against? So it was
Played against
Sol Campbell.
yeah. I mean, when I look at
maybe?
as a striker to defender ratio,
Yeah.
which I think I should look at it because that's what I play against.
Yeah.
I would probably say Sol was probably him and Distan. They were just unbelievable. We played a pre-season game against Portsmouth when I was at Yeovil, and they just the stuff they even done off the ball. You wouldn't even just try and make a run across them, mate, bang. Oh, just little nasty things, but they were that back of the calves with the studs and just mean stuff like
That's
that. Man.
beautiful.
Yeah, I mean,
For a striker.
I'm sure your United fan would think kicking someone in the back of the calves beautiful after yesterday.
Oh mate, I see that United. I see that. I was playing foul and they go down the other end and score.
100%.
Yeah, man. So but them two probably the most solid defenders I've ever played up against. Yeah, solid.
What was a striker you looked up to?
So again, always the likes of Ian Wright. You know, I mean, he came from a similar background to me from the non-league. Les Ferdinand. Luckily for myself, Les is a good friend of mine, and I got to play with him at Reading. Andy Cole, them kind of strikers when I was growing up, they were my kind of idols to really watch and really want to be like, you know. So yeah.
So it sounds like you should have been an Arsenal fan.
Well, yeah, I know. Sol Campbell,
Yeah,
right? Even Andy Cole. Cole was when he was
youth.
He was a youngster before he went to Bristol City. So yeah. So some great players and good guys to look up to. Good guys to look up to.
No,
so
that's
enjoyable.
pretty cool.
You know what I mean?
Man, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for having
Pleasure.
me.
Yeah. Good having you on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe we'll get you back. in the
Anytime,
future.
mate. Anytime.
Talk some.
Unless I think I have to make sure my passport's renewed. You know, it feels like forever to get here. But it's all good. But thanks for having me, guys.
No, we wish you all the best in your season with the schools.
Yeah,
and don't
thank you.
discipline those kids too hard.
Yeah, I'll look after it, mate. Thank you, guys.
Until next time, guys. See you later.